Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with some Warhammer the Old World news. It's been a while, it's literally been like a few months, but they are finally getting a bit closer to showcasing a bunch of stuff, I imagine, because, well, they've just finally admitted that we're getting Grand CATHAY on the tabletop. Now, we all kind of expected this because Grand CATHAY made its appearance in Total War Warhammer 3, so it makes it a bit of a shame if we didn't get it for both. But this is promising, as now we get a bit more information regarding Grand CATHAY and possibly some other information. So let's not waste any more time and jump right in. So if you're familiar with Total War Warhammer 3, this might not come as a surprise to you, but we're getting a rather interesting look at the old world maps. And there's a few things that we can talk about just from the beginning. We've got the flags associating with Miao Ying and Zhao Ming, the two legendary lords of Warhammer 3. We've also got Zheng Yang, which is the Dragon Emperor, so we know where his position is going to be. Now we've got their proper old world flags too. The territories itself is very similar to that of Warhammer 3, so this is pretty good because it's recognizable. What you will notice is up the top we do have some Hobgoblin stuff too. This is really important because a lot of people have been speculating about them, and their icon is there, their name has been dropped. We know that they're still part of canon. This is really cool. Hopefully this means that once they work further north, because they're right now focusing on Western CATHAY, we will find out a bit more information. There's also a name drop there for the Kazakhs, the Hung, and so on. This seems promising. This seems very promising, because a big fear of mine is when they went to Old World, they might start, like, removing minor factions or possible playable factions in the future. This is very cool. Looking at it a bit closer, the map itself is a bit different to that of Warhammer 3, because you can see the Land of Stone and Steel is actually further closer to Wei Jin than it is to Nangao. I'm rather curious about the Forest of Hungry Ghosts. Does that mean that we might have a Wood Elf area there? Because keep in mind that obviously the roots from the tree does reach this far, but some of them have died out, and CATHAY can pretty much decide to destroy it just to make sure that no random occurrences happen. Interestingly enough, I see quite a decent amount of Beastmen icons too, in fact, near the bottom, which is strange. You wouldn't think the Beastmen would be so rampant unless that might be the Monkey King's warriors, as obviously they would be considered Beastmen. Or would they? The map shows a lot more settlements than we've seen in Warhammer 3, and that's obviously expected due to the size and scaling and so on. And this is quite exciting. If they're putting so much detail in this, hopefully this means that we'll start to see some Cubicle 7 stuff with a Warhammer Fantasy roleplay and so on. That would be kind of cool. The best thing that Games Workshop can do is just link all the universes up together, and that would be absolutely fantastic. Something of importance of this article, which will be linked in the description below, says, we'll reveal more of Grand CATHAY and the fascinating peoples that call it home in future articles, as well as closer looks at other areas of this incredible setting. Okay, so why we need to talk about this? We've already seen the Total War Warhammer 3 map, and, well, you know, Ind and Koresh are there, so maybe? It's going to take a while. It's very strange that they've gone so far already, because the last stuff was based on the Border Princes. I was expecting more Orc updates, maybe Tomb Kings and so on. This is really far away, and they do mention other races and factions. We're going to get to that in just a second, but it's very curious. Obviously, them cross-promoting with Total War Warhammer 3 makes a lot of sense. It's weird because Games Workshop isn't really known to make good decisions, but hey, well done, guys. The last thing of great importance is really just the last bit of interview with Owen, one of the developers, which says here, far beyond the old world, across the World's Edge Mountains, the Darklands beyond them, and even the Mountains of Morn, stretches the vast empire of Grand CATHAY, a sprawling land of mist-shrouded mountains, endless forests, mighty rivers, and magnificent cities. This is the largest realm of men in the known world. The first taste of this empire encountered by travelers or invaders from the west and north are the lands ruled over by the Storm Dragon Miao Yin and the Iron Dragon Zhao Ming, children of the Celestial Dragon Emperor Zheng Yang. Miao Ying defends the Great Bastion to the north, a towering wall that stretches for hundreds of miles across Grand CATHAY's northern border, from the ever-present forces of Chaos and the Hobgoblin Khanates. Again, a proper mention of them, so I feel like it could be that we're going to see something. Keep in mind that we're going to see Chaos Dwarves eventually, but the Hobgoblin Khanates didn't just serve the Chaos Dwarves, that was just pretty much Hobgoblin slaves. We did have a independent group, and They have been mentioned a few times, like hobhounds and so on, so this is starting to sound really, really promising. It is said that the strength of the Storm Dragon and her innumerable armies have never faltered in their protection of the Empire, thanks to the discipline of CATHAY's soldiers and the wondrous weapons produced by the artificers of Nangao. The rest of the stuff focuses around Xiaoming, which is the usual stuff about defending the areas there because of the Skaven threats and obviously the Ogre Kingdoms. The Warpstone Desert itself is very, very dangerous and has a lot of potential enemies there. And a few mentions towards the whole Great Moor situation, which is both a benefit and a clutch to the Cathayan forces, obviously because the Great Moor influences the ogres, some of them that come here will start causing issues and so on. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of information. However, this is great that they finally confirmed that they have an official army book and they're going to be playable in Old World. I said this many times since we started seeing the previews of the units of Grand Cathay. They look cool and it would be nice. And anything that is in that army book that isn't until Warhammer 3, well, that's likely going to be DLC, isn't it? It makes a lot of sense. So the article will be linked in the description below, and I just want to talk about something really, really popular here. It's the case of the Hobgoblin Khanate. Now I want to just speculate a little bit. Like I said, Chaos Dwarfs will eventually come, and we're expecting them in Total War Warhammer 3 too. But it could work that we could have a dedicated, in, say, Warhammer 3 sub-faction, and in Old World, it could be interesting to have a supplement, because Games Workshop is very well known to do supplements nowadays, and it could go back, like, say, for example, the old Kislev one, the old Vampire Coast one, hopefully its own dedicated book, but you get what I mean, so you could field Hobgoblin armies by yourself and not actually have to have Chaos Dwarves linked up and so on, because we don't know exactly how rules are going to work just yet, and yeah, it's probably going to be a while because Games Workshop are being really slow with these updates. But the fact that they got mentioned, there's a specific icon for them. Maybe that's the whole racial icon now from now on. The 3 little blades in the circle kind of makes sense. This article does seem a little smaller than all the others, which is kind of disappointing. However, this is also information that we've already had since Warhammer 3, and there's been a lot of information dropping about that. So yeah, we're not going to expect that much. However, this is still pretty interesting. What do you guys think about this? Thing is, I look about this in 2 perspectives. I'm a tabletop player too, and I want to play them in the tabletop. It will be a cool army to play, not only just like the Hobgoblins, but Grand Cathay and so on. I feel like they should be more connected. I think the universes are more connected. But anyways, let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start a bit of a discussion. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms, such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games, where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our Fane level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our King level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.